Listen, it's quite simple, man. Press the free like button if you think Chris Jericho is better than Chris Benoit. Press the free like button if you think Bret Hart was better than Chris Benoit. Press the free like button if you think that Eddie G was better than Chris Benoit. Hell, press the free like button if you think Christian Cage was better than Chris Benoit. I can go on and on. Press the like button if you think Sting was better than Chris Benoit. That's my point that I'm trying to make. By the way, look, man, I must say this. I'm going to say this out to the whole entire video. So just stay tuned. Look, man, fuck Canada. Nobody cares about Toronto, Canada. Nobody cares about Calgary. Nobody cares about Canada. Chris Benoit was a nerd from Canada. Nobody cared about this guy that much to want to set him up. You know why? Canada got a bunch of dorks and nerds. Nobody cares about Canada. Canada sucks, okay? Facts are facts. And I dare you to tell me otherwise. You goddamn marks from Canada. Nobody cares about Canada. I don't. Canada got some of the worst human beings on the face of the earth, but not to a point where they would set somebody up for murder. Especially not Chris Benoit. Nobody in Canada cared about him like that. Nobody hated Chris Benoit in Canada. Are you insane? He was a nerd dork from Canada. They are awful human beings, but not to a point where they will set somebody up for murder. Not no damn Chris Benoit of all people. Do you know who I hate the most? I hate contrarians. Those are awful, idiot, dumb people that I just do not like. It's like they act like they are the smartest people in the room when, in hindsight, they are the dumbest people in the room that only want attention. Those are marks that I just fucking hate. Because if you are going to disagree and walk to the other side of an argument or of an opinion, bring me facts and evidence. If not, you are just a attention whore, right? I hate contrarians. It's like if I'm giving you facts and evidence and you still don't agree, you are a dumbass. That's what I mean by I hate contrarians. It's like if I give you facts and evidence and you still don't agree, that's a you problem. It's like you gotta look in the goddamn mirror, man. And look, do people know what a mark is when it comes to professional wrestling? People who take it a little bit too far, who take it too seriously where it's beyond wrestling, where it's your lifestyle, it's your whole being. Listen, I don't know who Chris Benoit is, right? I just see him as a guy that was on my TV set taking bumps. I don't know who he really was behind that camera, but I don't care who he was behind that camera. All I focused on was him as a pro wrestler. His existence did not bother me, okay? Whether he's alive or dead is not going to affect my life. That's what this is all about. Why am I seeing a fucking petition to reopen the Chris Benoit case? Bro, what case? There is no case. Bro, he's dead. He killed his family. What is there to open? He is a fucking murderer. What part of that don't you understand? Listen, this guy was a geeky ass nerd from Canada. Okay? He was not Scarface. Listen, this guy was a nerd who was a mark for wrestling from Canada. He's from Canada. Like, he ain't no gangster, no fucking thug. He's not Scarface. He's not fucking Al Capone. It's like he lived a modest, nerdy ass, secluded life that was all about the wrestling. He was a mark for wrestling. That's it. Let's not go past that. Point blank, period. He was not no gang member that had ties with a fucking mob. Who did not like this guy? This guy had tons of friends. Who did not like him? Who despised him? That's what I mean by don't be a mark over fake wrestling. These same marks want to bring up Kevin fucking Sullivan like it's wrestling. That's what I mean by being a contrarian is not smart. So you are mixing fake wrestling over two people who got murdered. What does Kevin Sullivan got to do with anything? Like, it's like you are such a fucking mark over wrestling where you don't believe that Chris Benoit killed his family. Like, this is a work? That's what I mean. You think this was a work? Or it was fucking Kevin Sullivan? Dude, look, cops are not dumb. Cops look at all kinds of evidence. Nothing does not get looked at. They look at everything. Cousins, friends, co-workers, everybody gets interrogated or at least talked to, right? Look at Tupac. Look at Keefe D. All that shit he was saying in his goddamn interviews got him caught up. Eventually, the cops caught on to his ass, right? So, let's go to Kevin Sullivan. This guy has talked about Chris Benoit for years. He thinks you nerds are crazy to even think he killed 3 people, all because he was jealous of Nancy. Listen, Kevin Sullivan gets bitches. He gets hot women. You don't. See, when you are like me, I get hot women, which means I move on to the next woman. I don't cry over her, bro. Not once did Kevin Sullivan cry over Chris Benoit taking his woman. He never gave a fuck because he gets other bitches. So to say Kevin Sullivan is jealous, yes, you are a fucking mark over fake wrestling that ain't real. It's like, that's like saying Test was pissed off that Triple H took Stephanie. Like, what? Nigga, it's fake wrestling. The fuck? It's like, it ain't real. Kevin Sullivan don't give a fuck about Chris Benoit taking Nancy. He don't care. He never did. He gets bitches. You don't. See, when you get bitches, you don't care what they do after you dump them. Facts on facts. See, there's levels to this. When it comes to getting bitches, okay, there's levels. See, I am in the handsome, buff man category. I move on to woman. I don't cry over not one bitch. See, because there's levels. I'm at a certain level of a high quality man. See, when you're a high quality man, you move on to woman. You don't care. Because there's levels. So to go back to Chris Benoit and Kevin Sullivan, to think a guy like that who gets hoes would kill Chris Benoit's son and his wife and him, that's wild. There's too much evidence. The guy had a brain of an 80-some-year-old man at age 40-something. He actually wrote a suicide note. There's actually people that think he didn't write it. I'm like, bro, nobody hated Chris Benoit that much to kill him. First off, he was a professional wrestler, right? He was a buff-ass dude on roids, right? What guy is going to break into his house and take him out without a gun? Let that sink in. Who is going to break? Who has the balls to break into Chris Benoit's house without a gun? If a guy had a gun, he would just use it. Chris Benoit was a pro wrestler who was buff and swole on roids. If you are not going to use a gun on Chris Benoit, he's going to whoop your ass. How come there was no gun on the scene? If you are going to take out Chris Benoit and his family, bro, just use a gun, because he's Chris Benoit. He's a big ass dude. So why would a guy be bold enough to walk in there without being strapped? If you are trying to break into a Chris Benoit house, this guy lived inside the gym. See, you have no evidence that he didn't do it. Chris Benoit was not right in the head. But to go back to what I was saying, nobody hated Chris Benoit. People loved Chris Benoit. Here's what I mean. He had no enemies. That's my point. He had no enemies. He was a nerd from fucking Canada. He was an awkward nerd from Canada. He was not cool. He was not hip. He was a nerd who was a mark for wrestling from Canada. So, what mob ties or what gang members broke into that man's house to kill him? Really? That makes no fucking sense. See, you Mark are part of the problem. 500 people signed that petition. That's insane in the fucking membrane. Right? It's like, what are you getting out of it? And here's what I mean. To say that you want the case reopened, it's like, bro, that you are being very disrespectful to the family who knows he did it. That's the point. You are fucking disrespectful to the memory of his son and Nancy because they know who killed them, right? They died via a goddamn chokehold. Okay. Who had the biggest biceps in that house to perform that kind of move? They were put in a rear naked chokehold. And I heard that he actually Googled that online. He Googled how to put somebody in a chokehold online. That sounds like a fucking nerd that would do something like that. A nerd like Chris Benoit would do something like that. Dog, he had big ass biceps. You don't think he had the body to choke somebody out? A woman? A damn kid? Obviously. That's my point. But, see, you have no fucking evidence. I got evidence. I got logic and sense. Logic and sense. If you're gonna break into that man's house, you gotta bring a gun to take him out. Because what dummy in their right mind is gonna walk into that man's house to try to fight him? Really? What can you do against Chris Benoit if you have no weapons? Right? It's like, holy shit, who took out his family then, huh? A big ass buff dude that's bigger than him? Of course not. It's like, you people are such, man, it's like, it's embarrassing to tell people you are a fan of wrestling when you hear stories like this, where you care so much about fake wrestling. It's like, damn, man, Chris Benoit was a charisma vacuum. There's no way in hell he worked you that much to think he wouldn't do it. He played a fake character on TV, and for some reason you don't think he would do it? Bro, you don't know him, I don't know him. But all the evidence points to him doing it. That's why the case is closed. It will never be reopened. Look, Nancy knows who took her out. His son knows who did it. And look, That's crazy, right? His dead wife, his dead son knows who did it. And for you to want to reopen the case, that means that you want Chris Benoit to escape scot-free. Look, every dead person wants to know who their killer is. Every dead person wants justice for their killer. They know who did it. And you are trying to make him scot-free? It's like you are spitting. That is a spit in the face to his son and his wife. It is like, wow, you don't care about his family. All you care about is fake wrestling. It's like you marks want this guy in the Hall of Fame that much. Look, fun fact, right? Huge fun fact to burst your Mark bubble. You fucking Mark. Listen, let's say Chris Benoit didn't do it. Who cares? He's not going to Hall of Fame. He's not. Because there's always going to be that doubt on, did he do it or did he not do it? There's always going to be that doubt, which means he will never be in Hall of Fame. There's too much controversy around his name. At the end of the day, Vince and Triple H are the ones who say who goes to the Hall. They have banned Chris Benoit from their history. He is banned. Hell, I think they banned his matches on their network. There's no likeness, no images of Chris Benoit, and that's never going to change, even if he didn't do it. It's not going to change, so what's the point? What are you fighting for? It's like, yes, please say your mark without saying your mark if you signed that petition. There's nothing to petition. He's dead. The case is closed. Move on. There are tons of guys like him who have did what he did. Just like Junior Seau. He was messed up in the head, which led him to killing himself. That sounds like Chris Benoit. This guy was going through depression because he was being phased out. Do you know what depression is? It's real. He was being phased out of his own company. Him going to ECW, he felt like he was being demoted for the young guys. So that led to him being more depressed. He felt like he was being phased out the company, which led to depression. That's what I mean. So you mix roids, you mix fucking depression, you mix his fucked up head. That is not a good sign. It's like you have to look at the evidence that I'm giving you. See, I'm not a contrarian. You know why? I speak facts. There's nothing to say I'm a contrarian if I'm speaking facts, right? I always speak facts. I don't lie. Like, for example, I think last year, I said that Zoe Starks was going to turn on Miss Lyons. And then 2 months later, she turned on her. Nobody caught that but me. So that's a sample of, yeah, bitch, I'm not a contrarian. I speak facts. Right? So the point is, Chris Benoit did it. And yes, bitch, that's his name. Chris Benoit. I would never say his name right. He don't deserve it. Chris Benoit. But the point is, we got to stop this. Like, nothing is going to change even if he didn't do it. He's not going to the fucking Hall of Fame. It's not going to happen. It will never happen. So why talk about it? Why bring it up? It's like, you got to move on. It's like, listen, he did it. He's a murderer. He did it. Nobody hated this man. That's why people are shocked. I never heard not one story online or in shoots of people having an issue with Chris Benoit. Everybody was friends with Chris Benoit. Everybody was friends with him backstage. Nobody hated this guy. It's like, what are we talking about? Nobody would frame this guy. Not in no damn Canada. He was a nerd from he was a nerd from Canada. Nobody disliked Chris Benoit in his personal life. To my knowledge, he was a great guy in real life. So who would hate this guy that much to fucking set him up? Really? Really? That makes no sense. Like I said, if you're going to break into that guy's house, why would you not be strapped? So Chris Benoit got taken out by a guy that was not strapped. Really? Nah, bro. That's not how life works. Okay? At the end of the day, that guy did it. He's a murderer. It's like, what part of that don't you understand? It's like, to say he didn't do it, it's like, you are selfish. That is being selfish. You're not taking consideration with his family and the people who loved his son and his wife. Because his wife knows who did it. It was Chris Benoit. His son knows who did it. It was Chris Benoit. It's like, think with your fucking head. It's like, have you ever heard of an autopsy? Have you ever heard of forensic evidence, right? They know how people die. They died via a chokehold. Who in that house knows about stuff like that? Who was looking that up on the internet? It was Chris Benoit. It's like, they can tell how somebody died. Learn about life. They died a chokehold by Chris Benoit. So there's no conspiracy whatsoever. Once again, nobody gave a single fuck about Chris Benoit. Nobody cared about him. What I mean by that is nobody cared about this guy that much to kill him and his family. Okay, nobody cared about that much. He was not a part of no drug deal gone wrong. No nothing. He was a nerdy wrestler from Canada. Look, Canada is filled with fucking nerds. Let me repeat. Toronto, Calgary, Canada is filled with nerds. Okay? Not people that are going to set somebody up. Not no damn nerdy ass Chris Benoit who just stayed to himself. That's not how that should work. Canada is filled with nerds. Okay? Facts on facts. There's nobody cool from Canada. Canada sucks. Okay? Let me repeat. Canada sucks. Nobody likes Canada. Canada is filled with fucking nerds who are stuck up, arrogant assholes. But they are not murderers, okay? Not to a point where they will set up Chris Benoit like they gave a single fuck about this guy. You people are fucking asshole weirdos. Fuck Canada. Nobody cares about Canada, and stay out of our business here in America because we don't give a fuck about what goes on in Canada. Canada is filled with fucking dorks and nerds. That's it. I'm done.